Hey, James Mulvaney here, and back with another video on the Rodecaster Pro II. Today, we're going to be talking about taking callers, and I'm going to be giving you 3 different ways that you can connect callers using the Rodecaster Pro II, so stay tuned. Hey, so if you're new to this channel, my name's James Mulvaney. I'm founder of Radio.co, Podcast.co, Matchmaker.fm, and Q Podcasts, always creating videos just like this one, talking about equipment, how-tos and reviews, and also tips to grow your audience and create better radio and audio and podcast content. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications for updates when I'm releasing new content. So as I mentioned in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 different ways that you can connect callers. Firstly, I want to show you the hardwired way. You can actually connect your phone, whether it be an Android or an iPhone device, through a cable. Yes, there is no TRRS adapter or connection on this. However, you can actually connect it directly through a cable. I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do that. Secondly, we're going to be looking at Bluetooth, how you can connect your phone via Bluetooth and make calls and take calls using Bluetooth, which is really super. And by the way, you can also play music on your device through all these methods as well. And then finally, we're going to be looking at the new chat channel. This is part of the first USB connection, and it's particularly good if you're using software such as Zoom to make calls, which tend to be the most common. Most of the time, if you're interviewing people for a podcast, for example, you're going to be using something like Zoom. You might be using Google, which we're going to demo today, Microsoft Teams, or one of the tools such as Squadcast, Zencaster, Riverside, etc., etc. There's tons of them around now, but perfect for recording podcasts. So you can actually route these directly into the Rodecaster. You can record on the device, or you can record on your computer. But just before we dive in, I want to give you a quick little tip, because this was a question that came up a couple of times in the comments in the last video I did, and also I noticed it's the same question over on our Radio.co video. Which is, where did we get this stand? This is just a generic laptop stand. We have these in the office for people who are coming in and hot desking. And it's really just designed for a MacBook. So if you go onto Amazon and you just type in silver MacBook stand or silver laptop stand, you'll find lots and lots of versions of these. They're not particularly expensive, but you could go and get yourself one of these fairly cheaply. As I say, it's not designed for the Rodecaster, but the Rodecaster is the perfect size to sit on it. And it kind of just sits up in a nice angle and kind of clears it away off your desk a little bit. So having said all that, let's dive in. Let's find out how we can take callers on the Rodecaster Pro II. So the first method of connecting your phone to the Rodecaster Pro, and this will depend on how you connect your phone depending on what sort of output you've got on the bottom of your phone. So if you've got an iPhone, you'll need a very specific cable. You'll need a USB-C to Lightning cable. Now, most iPhones now come with this as part of it. I know they don't supply a charger anymore, but if you buy the newer Apple chargers, they have what's known as a USB-C output versus the traditional USB connection that you might have on your computer. So that's what you need. You need a USB-C to Lightning cable. If you don't have one of these cables, you can get them on Amazon. You don't have to go out and spend a fortune on an official Apple one. If you're on an Android phone, however, it's a little bit more simple because most Androids now have got USB-C connectors on the bottom of the phone, which is what you would normally use to connect it to your computer, or you might use it to charge your device. Now, Rode actually supply a USB-C to USB-C cable. There's 2 USB-C connections, so you can use one for a computer, and you can use the second one perhaps for your phone. And the great thing about this is you can use it to take calls if you set up mix minus to avoid the loop back. And that basically means that you can speak to the person on the other end of the phone through your microphone. But also, you can play music. So you don't necessarily have to connect a phone. It might be a tablet or it might be another computer. So right now, we've got an Android phone hooked up via a USB-C cable. I've assigned it to one of the faders. So if I fade up our channel number 5, you'll hear some music playing, okay? So this, as I say, is playing on an Android device. We've got it connected via the USB-C input. So, as I say, you can use this to play music, but you can also use it to take calls. Okay, so the second way of connecting your phone to the Rodecaster is Bluetooth. Connecting your phone via Bluetooth to this is very similar to, say, pairing a new pair of headphones with your phone. You click onto the Rodecaster. You then select Bluetooth. You can assign Bluetooth to any channel that you want, which is one of the new features of this device. Once you've assigned it to a channel, you then pair your iPhone or your Android device with the Bluetooth on the Rodecaster. And once it's connected up, really simple, you just put the fader up, you make your call, and you can talk to someone via the Bluetooth connection. And as I mentioned, they'll be able to hear what you're saying through the microphone, and you'll be able to hear what they're saying through your headphones. So let's give it a whirl. Okay, so now I've got my iPhone paired up nicely, and I've got Graham on the line. So we're going to fade Graham in. Currently you can't hear him because he's faded down, obviously. This is a great thing about using one of these devices to manage callers. Obviously, if someone, perhaps you're coming out of a record or you're playing a song, or you've got someone on hold, right now Graham can hear everything I'm saying, but obviously you, because you're e.g. effectively the listener right now, you can't until I put the fader up. Hey Graham, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Now, currently we've got processing disabled.
Right.
So, and you're kind of stood next to you're not in an ideal environment there.
No, I've got my face next to a fan.
We've currently got all processing disabled. One of the new features of the Rodecaster Pro is you can actually enable processing. So if I switch processing on, Graham, you still there?
Yeah, how am I sounding now?
Yeah, I think this is a slight improvement. I mean, it still sounds like a phone call. Obviously, one of the things when you're taking a call over a traditional phone line, it's not always the best quality. But, sometimes if you can perhaps make a call via something else, like WhatsApp, can give you a little bit better quality. Okay, so the final method of kind of taking callers that I wanted to talk through today is actually via a computer. Like, if you think about it now, when people take calls on podcasts, most of the time, if you're recording a show, you're not going to be making a phone call. You're probably not going to be WhatsApping someone because most of the time you'll be sent them a meeting link. So the most common and most podcasts I've been on, people tend to use Zoom. It's not actually the best solution out there for recording podcasts, but it works well. So this will work with any software, whether it be desktop or browser-based. The key thing to do is set your USB-C connector to your laptop. There's a channel called USB 1 Chat, which is basically a mix-minus setup. That basically means that they're not going to hear themselves looping around. It's not going to cause any nasty feedback. And it's really simple because once you set that up, you assign that channel on your meeting software. So at the moment, we've got Google Meet set up here. This will work fine with Zoom. It'll work with Microsoft Teams. It will work with FaceTime. It'll work with anything like Squadcast, Riverside FM, Zencaster. There are tons of these tools out there now, and they're really common for recording podcasts. But the good thing about having these online meetings, of course, is you don't have to give your phone number away. And also, I think the quality of the calls generally is better than a traditional phone line. So I've now got Graham on Google. So say hi, Graham. We're recording this screen as well. So how does it sound? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, it sounds lovely. It just sounds like, a normal phone call.
I think this is, from my perspective as well, we were testing this with an actual phone earlier. I think the quality of the audio is much better now than perhaps it was with the phone call. One of the things I'm interested in doing is toggling off processing. So if the processing is actually set to on at the moment. So if I turn that off, if you want to continue speaking.
Yeah, how am I sounding now?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I think with processing, it gives you a little bit of clarity, perhaps. Cool. So that is the final way to connect the Rodecaster Pro to a caller. Thanks very much, Graham. I'll speak to you later.
All right. See you in a bit.
So there we have it. 3 different ways to connect callers. I'm curious to know in the comments. Let me know if you're thinking about using this device primarily to do interviews or take callers. It'll work well for live calls, and it also works perfectly well to record them as well. Really, really allows you to manage your calls. You can queue people up. You can have them muted when you kind of do your introduction, or if you're doing a live stream, you can bring them in to discuss a certain point. And if you're really clever, you can also have multiple callers on here as well. You could perhaps have someone connected via a computer, someone else connected via Bluetooth, and you can even have those people talking to each other and yourself if you want to host, say, a talk show. So it's a really powerful device, the Rodecaster Pro II. Let me know in the comments how you're planning on using this. I'm curious to know, and if you've got any questions or you want to see any other videos on what you can do with this device, again, leave me a comment below. And as always, I'd appreciate a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching. What makes the difference between a successful radio station and a failed project? Well, after working with tens of thousands of broadcasters over the past 15 years and helping lots of people start their own radio stations, I see the same mistakes being made time and time again. So what I've done is I've put together a guide called the 5-Step Radio Startup Checklist, which really covers everything from concepting your radio station to marketing it. And this guide, I believe, will make the difference between you having a successful venture with longevity and creating something that doesn't quite hit the mark. Go and grab your copy now for free at jamesm.com/radio. Just enter your name and your email address and I'll send it over to you straight away. You're going to find it really useful. There's tons of information there which will help you with concepting and launching your brand and bringing it to market.